Last year for my job, I made $140,000 in gross income, and this year I was expected to make somewhere between $150,000 and $160,000. But 3 days ago, I quit my job. Now, I'm not gonna make you sit through the entire video before I tell you my plan. My plan was always to become full-time in real estate, so that's exactly what I'm doing as a real estate agent and investor in the Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina area. But I do plan to tell you, if you do decide to stick around, why I felt comfortable to be able to do this and some of my advice for those who feel stuck in the rat race today and how you can get out. It's kind of sad to say, but truthfully, I've been pretty unhappy with my day-to-day since about grade 3 or 4. And that does sound pretty sad, but I've never minded working hard, I've never minded learning, I've never minded really just getting into things that feel difficult, but I've never actually loved what I've done from a day-to-day perspective. And if that resonates with you, make sure you scroll down and make that thumbs up button blue. Now, $160,000 is a fantastic wage, but I've been ready to leave corporate for a really long time. To me, it sucks to not be excited about what I'm doing day to day and have to work really hard to motivate myself to do a good job. And I personally love to always do a good job because I want to put my best foot forward, but having to work extremely hard to put that motivation in order to work hard just sucks. It really sucks. So in the last 6 to 9 months, I've been fully truthful with myself that I've actually been unhappy for a really long time. I've never really minded my job, but never really liked it that much. And I want to be able to do stuff from a day-to-day perspective that I actually love and gives me more energy, which is why I've decided to go full-time into real estate so I can do something that I love every single day and stuff that gives me energy. So now what's most important, why I actually felt comfortable to take this leap at this time in my life. Just over a month ago, I turned 29, and for the last 6 years, I've had in my phone a reminder every single day at 11 a.m. that I would reach financial independence and retire by the age of 35. Now, I've since learned that I don't want to fully retire and sit on a beach and do absolutely nothing because that would be extremely boring. But I did want to create that financial independence, so I had the option to retire from corporate America, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing. I hit that goal a lot earlier than I thought, and I actually hit financial independence a couple of years ago, but I wanted to make sure that I felt extremely comfortable, so I saved up even more money to be able to take this leap today. And that's really why I felt comfortable. The cash flow that I receive from all of my assets currently completely covers my lifestyle, so even if I made absolutely $0 as a real estate agent, I could still live and eat and do the things that I wanted to do with my time. Another reason that I felt really strongly is I have a really solid amount of reserves. I have about $65,000 across 6 or 7 units that I have, and I have even more money with some of the partners that I have in those properties that I don't have a 100% stake in. So I just feel really confident that if everything went super poorly, I could still at least pay the mortgage and hold on to those properties. The third reason is the assets that I have are very stable assets. They're predictable in their income, they're predictable in their expenses. I know exactly what's going on. Yes, I'm going to be doing more projects and I have more renovation costs, but at least for those properties that I have that are currently stabilized, I feel very good about the income that I'm receiving. And the fourth reason is I actually have some really solid momentum in my real estate agent business. I've done 3 transactions so far, did 1 referral, and I also currently have 2 more under contract, and I'm working with a lot more people and actually just got 1 listing. So there's a lot of good things going on in my real estate agent business, and I know with just how I work, I'm gonna continue working and getting that momentum and probably make pretty decent money with that job, even though I can make $0 if I wanted. So why am I leaving corporate and deciding to actually be a real estate agent? Really, number one is it's a huge passion of mine and I absolutely love real estate. So it really just doesn't feel like work to me is the biggest thing. Even yesterday on a Sunday, I worked about 5 hours where I put together that listing agreement I got, and then I also toured a property with a buyer, and I also did a little bit of prospecting to find new clients. None of that felt boring or annoying or like a chore to me. It was just fun, and it actually made my Sunday a lot more enjoyable. And as I alluded to earlier, I believe that I will easily clear $150,000 of gross income that I was going to be making at my job from my new real estate agent job, just because of how I operate and how much work I want to put into it, because I just find it so fun. And some other benefits that for me are going to be really fantastic just for my mental health and not having Sunday scaries and feeling really excited about my day-to-day is the first thing, I get to be myself. Now, I used to make a ton of social media content. I've been keeping up quite a bit on YouTube, but in terms of Instagram and TikTok, I've definitely slowed down because I feel like I can't fully say what I want to say because I've been worried about the longest time to actually potentially get fired from my job, and I wanted to make sure I get my bonus, which is what I got 3 days ago and another reason why I felt comfortable to actually leave that job. And now, because I don't have this thing looming over my head, I feel really confident that I can just say what I want and be who I want every single day of the week. And alongside that, I don't need to stress out about being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Sometimes you just go for a doctor's appointment or you have to do something and you feel nervous that you're in the wrong place or maybe you're 15 minutes late or need to leave 15 minutes early from work, and you just don't really like how that feels potentially. At least for me, I've always been one to follow rules, but I no longer will really ever have that feeling because I'm my own boss and I set my own schedule. And obviously, lastly, the thing that will for sure help my mental health is just doing something I actually enjoy every single day. That really just puts a smile on my face and makes things a lot better. So as I mentioned, if you stick around, I have some advice for you on how you could potentially get out of this stuck feeling and get into the life that you want to have. The first thing is make sure that you're patient. You're probably going to be watching a ton of social media and seeing people out there who are 18 years old and have some crazy entrepreneurial side hustle or something they call a side hustle and just make a crazy amount of money. That really isn't going to be everybody. You need to make sure that you are patient. But on the flip side of that, make sure you're doing something every single day in order to get you towards that goal, to get out of the situation that you're in. But really, it's not gonna happen overnight. You're gonna have to think about it pretty thoroughly, and it's just going to take a little bit of time. But it's going to be a lot faster than you waiting until you're 65, as long as you put in some of that work every single day. The second thing I'm gonna say probably sounds a little bit controversial, but in my opinion, you should chase money first and then follow your passion. Because personally, if I followed my passion first, maybe it would have worked out well, but it would have worked out definitely differently. Because I got a job right away, a solid, stable income, from a lender's perspective, I was able to get loans in order to purchase those properties. If I started right away in sales, then I would have had to at least wait 2 years for that income history right out of school, and then property prices would have been a lot higher, and I kind of would have been behind from where I'm at now. Now, maybe my earning potential would have been a lot higher, who knows? But I really think you should just try to get the thing that is going to make you the most amount of money right away, and that will help fuel your passion, whether it's in business or just doing absolutely nothing. Maybe you just want to get up to a couple $1 million in stocks so you can live off of that forever. And the final thing that I kind of alluded to in the first is you're going to be seeing a lot of people on social media doing these crazy things, and it's easy to get down on yourself because you feel far behind them. You really don't need to feel far behind them. It's just a journey with yourself. So focus on your own journey and just do the things that you need to do every single day in order to make that journey complete. And also an aside with that of focusing on your journey is make sure you take action. Again, you're gonna see a lot of things around you that are gonna probably stress you out a little bit because you're gonna be probably a little bit jealous, and it happens to every single person. But if instead of just feeling down on yourself, you take that energy and put it into some action, as I've been saying this whole time, then you're gonna get there faster and faster, and it's just going to feel closer and closer every single day. And the most profound advice that I have ever received that really I've thought about for the last 6 years since I've heard it was in 2019 at Mia and my fiance's graduation. We went to the same school. She graduated 1 year later, and so I went to her commencement. And David E. Kelly, he's a famous screenwriter, was the person who was actually giving the commencement speech. And what he said has stuck with me for a very long time, is that the people who absolutely love their job and absolutely hate their job are going to be in fantastic spots. Because if you love your job, that's great. You love your job and you're gonna stay in it. But if you hate your job, it's also a good thing because you're gonna do something to get out of that situation. The people who are typically screwed, for lack of a better word, are the people who don't mind their job, because you end up stuck in that situation and you don't really mind it, so you don't really do anything about it. It doesn't really give you the satisfaction that you want, and it doesn't do the things that are too negative that you feel absolutely terrible about it, so you just stay in that situation for a long time, and those are the people who have a really hard time just moving forward in life. And that really is a majority of people, probably 80 or 90%. I don't know the actual stats, I'm just throwing it out there, but that's how I felt for the longest time, and I finally was true to myself this year in actually quitting this job. And again, my job was a very high income, stable job that was able to do a lot for me, but it's really not something I wanted. Even though it only took away 40 hours of my week every single week, it was still too much from my perspective to not be doing the thing that I loved, and I for sure would have regretted it if I had never taken this leap. And it was funny, right before I quit, Mia, my fiance, asked me how much money I would need to get paid in order to stay at the job, and I genuinely couldn't think of a number. If they wanted me to work an extra month or stay on for an extra year, I just really didn't want to do it, so it wasn't about the monetary benefit. Now, maybe if you pay me $5 million to stay there for a month, I would probably do it, but in terms of a reasonable, real salary that they could possibly pay me, I don't think there was any way that I actually wanted to stay and continue on. That's really just because I feel so passionately about this and want to take that leap and just get to do the things that I want to do in my life every single day that give me all of that energy. And with all that being said, I hope I gave you a little bit of energy too and a little bit of motivation, and you'd give me even a little bit more back if you go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you want to learn more about my journey as a real estate agent, investor, and how you can achieve financial independence and financial freedom yourself. So thanks again for watching, and more wealth is coming your way.